The first gunshot cracks through the night. Lee Min's world explodes into chaos. 20 armed soldiers emerging from shipping containers. Muzzle flashes lighting up the fog. His men dropping one by one. Then a bullet tears through his shoulder. And for the first time in 6 months of complete numbness, he feels it. Real, excruciating, undeniable pain. He gasps, almost laughs at the cruel irony. He spent months desperate to feel anything. Now, bleeding out in a Busan warehouse, hunted by enemies who want him dead, he finally feels everything. And the woman he's falling for? Her brother is being held hostage. The antidote that could save his life? Only one dose exists. His choice. Take it and live, or give it to the dying crime boss who poisoned him. This is the story of a man who lost his humanity and found it again in the most dangerous way possible. The drive to Haeundae District takes 20 minutes through Busan's morning traffic. Dae-young sits in the passenger seat, scrolling through reports on his tablet, occasionally glancing at Lee Min with concern he thinks his boss doesn't notice. But Lee Min notices everything now. When you can't feel, observation becomes your only tether to reality. The boutique is prime real estate, Dae-young says, his voice carefully neutral. Mixed-use building. Retail on the ground floor, residential above. The current tenant has a 5-year lease, but we can negotiate early termination if... I don't care about the details, Lee Min interrupts. His voice sounds flat even to his own ears. Just tell me if it's worth the investment. Dae-young's jaw tightens almost imperceptibly. Boss, you used to care about every detail. You used to. I used to be a lot of things. The car falls silent except for the low hum of the engine and the distant sound of Busan waking up. Lee Min stares out the window at the city he controls, feeling nothing. Not pride, not satisfaction, not even the hollow ache of loss anymore. Just nothing. When they pull up to the building, Lee Min immediately notices the boutique on the ground floor. It explodes with color against Busan's gray morning. Vibrant yellows, deep indigos, rich crimsons bleeding through the windows. The sign reads attire and silk, in both Hangul and English, with smaller text in what might be Yoruba underneath. It's completely out of place in this neighborhood of muted tones and corporate uniformity. It's alive in a way nothing else around it is. In a way Lee Min hasn't been for half a year. That's the tenant, Dae-young says, nodding toward the boutique. Fashion designer. Nigerian-British. Been here about 2 years. Makes custom clothing. Apparently quite popular with. But Lee Min is already out of the car. His security team scrambles to follow. Dae-young sighs and trails behind, tablet in hand, muttering about proper protocol. The moment Lee Min pushes open the boutique door, he's assaulted by sensory input he can't actually process. African drums mix with Korean Gaejeom music from hidden speakers. The air smells like something spicy and sweet, incense maybe, or perfume or fabric dye. The walls are covered in textiles that seem to move in the air-conditioning breeze, patterns swirling, colors bleeding into each other like living things. 3 staff members freeze mid-conversation when they see him. They know who he is. Everyone in Busan's business district knows Lee Min's face. One woman actually takes a step backward, her hand moving to her phone. Fear ripples through the small space like a physical presence. Then a voice cuts through the tension, speaking rapid Yoruba before switching to Korean with a distinct British accent. Gentlemen, unless you're here to shop, I'm going to need you to not terrorize my staff. She emerges from behind a partition draped in bright Ankara fabric, and Lee Min's calculated assessment kicks in automatically. 5'6", early 30s, box braids wrapped in an elaborate style. She's wearing something that defies easy categorization. Looks like a modern blazer until she moves and you see it's constructed from Ankara print, paired with what appears to be a modernized geometry that somehow works together. Gold jewelry catches the light. Her eyes are sharp, assessing him right back with zero fear. This is Lola Adeyemi, and she's not impressed. Dae-young steps forward automatically, his body language protective. Ms. Adeyemi, She holds up one hand, still looking at Lee Min. I know who you are. Everyone knows who you are, Mr. Lee. The question is, what do you want from my boutique? Lee Min finds himself slightly off balance, which hasn't happened in longer than he can remember. I'm considering purchasing this building. Then you'll need a proper suit for the closing. Her eyes scan his Tom Ford with professional disdain. Those boxy things you're wearing won't do. Come. She walks past him toward a measuring area, completely fearless, completely confident. One of her staff members whispers urgently in Korean, Lola, that's Lee Min, he. I know exactly who he is, Lola replies without looking back. Mr. Lee, are you coming? I don't have all day. Lee Min exchanges a glance with Dae-young, who looks as confused as Lee Min feels. Which is to say, not much, because feeling requires emotional capacity he no longer possesses. But intellectually, he recognizes this is unusual. Most people either run from him or grovel. Lola Adeyemi does neither. He follows her to the measuring area. She gestures to a small platform in front of a three-way mirror. Up. I haven't agreed to. You walked into my boutique during business hours. You're either a customer or a threat. I prefer to assume the best in people until they prove otherwise. Now up. Lee Min steps onto the platform. In the mirror, he sees himself. Tall, too thin these days. Dark circles under his eyes that no amount of sleep fixes. Behind him, his security team hovers uncertainly. Behind them, Lola's staff watches with wide eyes. Lola pulls out a fabric measuring tape and begins her assessment. She's all business, moving around him with practiced efficiency, calling out numbers in a mix of Korean and English. Shoulders are good. Posture is terrible. When did you last eat a proper meal? I don't. Rhetorical question. Arms up. Lee Min raises his arms. Lola steps closer to measure across his shoulders, and when her hand brushes against his upper back to adjust the measuring tape, everything stops. A jolt. Electric. Sharp. Undeniable. The first sensation Lee Min has felt in 183 days hits him like lightning. He jerks back instinctively, staring at his shoulder where she touched him as if the fabric has burned through to his skin. Sensitive skin? Lola asks, noticing his reaction. Her professional mask slips for just a second, replaced by something that might be concern. I can use softer fabric. Natural fibers only, no synthetic blends. But Lee Min isn't listening. He's touching his own shoulder, pressing fingers against the spot where she made contact, trying to recreate the sensation. His security team tenses. Dae-young takes a step forward. I need to leave, Lee Min says abruptly. His voice sounds strange in his own ears, almost shaken. Now. He's off the platform and moving toward the door before anyone can respond. Dae-young apologizes hastily to Lola. Sorry for the inconvenience. We'll be in touch about the building. And hurries after his boss. In the car, Lee Min sits rigidly, one hand still pressed against his shoulder. The sensation is fading already, ghosting away like smoke. But it was real. It was real. For the first time in 6 months, he felt something. Boss. Dae-young's voice is careful. Are you all right? Did something happen in there? Drive, Lee Min says. Then softer, still touching his shoulder like a talisman. Just drive. Through the boutique window, Lola Adeyemi watches the sleek black car pull away. She stands very still, arms crossed, head tilted slightly in consideration. One of her staff members approaches nervously. Lola, are you okay? Should we call someone? He's dangerous, everyone says. Interesting, Lola murmurs, more to herself than to her employee. Very interesting. She turns back to her work, but her expression remains thoughtful. Outside, Busan continues its morning routine. Inside a dyer and silk, something has shifted in ways no one can quite name yet. Not even Lola, though she suspects. She's seen that look before, the desperate need for sensation, the shock of unexpected feeling. She's seen it in her own mirror, in the months after Marcus died. She knows what nerve damage looks like when someone tries to hide it. The Kiansa Syndicate headquarters occupies 3 floors of a gleaming building in Busan's financial district. Legitimate businesses on paper, import-export, real estate development, shipping logistics. In reality, it's the nerve center of Lee Min's criminal empire. The meeting room on the top floor offers panoramic views of the harbor. 20 years ago, Lee Min fought his way up from the docks to this room. 10 years ago, he consolidated power by eliminating 3 rival syndicates in one carefully orchestrated week. 6 months ago, he walked into a peace summit and walked out poisoned, half dead, completely numb. Now he sits at the head of a long table, surrounded by his captains, and can't stop touching his shoulder. Boss! Captain Kim, who runs the Western Dockyard operations, leans forward. Are you listening? The Yongo clan is moving on our territory. They've intercepted 2 shipments in the last week. If we don't respond, handle it, Lee Min says absently, his fingers pressing against the fabric of his suit jacket. The sensation from the boutique is gone now, completely vanished, but the memory of it haunts him. How her hand felt, that sharp electric jolt, the sudden awareness of his own body. The captains exchange glances. Captain Park, who oversees the gambling operations, clears his throat. Boss, with respect, we need your direction on this. The Yongo clan. I said handle it. Lee Min's voice goes cold, the automatic response of someone who's ruled through fear and precision for 2 decades. Dae-young will coordinate the response. Is there anything else? More exchanged glances. These men have followed Lee Min through gang wars and federal investigations. They've seen him outwit prosecutors and outfight challengers. But they've never seen him like this. Distracted, distant, repeatedly touching his own shoulder like he's trying to confirm it's still attached to his body. Boss! Dae-young speaks up carefully. Perhaps we should discuss the building purchase. The boutique property in Houndy. Given the current situation with the Yongo clan, maybe now isn't the time to expand into. I want everything you can find on Lola Adeyemi. Lee Min interrupts, his gaze suddenly sharp and focused for the first time in the entire meeting. Family, background, how she ended up in Busan, why she opened that boutique. Everything. Silence falls over the room like a physical weight. The fashion designer? Captain Kim sounds confused. Boss, what does she have to do with everything? Lee Min repeats, standing abruptly. The meeting is over whether they're finished or not. I want it on my desk by tonight. All of it. He walks out, leaving his captains staring after him in bewildered concern. Dae-young sighs deeply, rubbing his temples. This is exactly what he was afraid of. Lee Min has been functioning on autopilot for 6 months, making decisions without emotional investment, running the syndicate like a machine because that's all he knew how to do. But now someone has cracked that machine facade. And in their world, distractions get you killed. I'll handle the research, Dae-young tells the other captains. The rest of you proceed with the dockyard situation as discussed. And he hesitates, choosing his words carefully. Keep this meeting confidential. If word gets out that the boss is distracted, the vultures will circle. Night falls over Busan. In his penthouse office, Lee Min sits surrounded by files that Dae-young delivered 3 hours ago. Photos, documents, digital records, bank statements. The full background of Lola Adeyemi spread across his desk like pieces of a puzzle he's desperate to solve. Born in Lagos, Nigeria. Mother, textile artist. Father, unknown. Moved to London at 14. Scholarship to Central St. Martin's, one of the most prestigious fashion schools in the world. Graduated top of her class. Engaged to Marcus Chun, British-Chinese architect. Marcus beaten to death outside a Manchester club 3 years ago in what police called a racially motivated hate crime. 3 men arrested. 2 convicted. 1 walked free on technicality. For months after Marcus's death, Lola liquidated everything and moved to South Korea. Lived in Seoul briefly before settling in Busan. Opened a dyer and silk 18 months ago. Business is thriving despite, or perhaps because of, its unconventional style. And here's the detail that makes Lee Min's hands tighten on the papers. Her brother is Dr. Park Ji-ho, a neurotoxin researcher at Busan University Hospital. Adopted Korean name after their mother married a Korean professor. Specializes in nerve damage and regeneration therapies. Published several papers on synthetic neurotoxins and their antidotes. It's too coincidental. Too perfect. Lee Min's paranoia, honed by 2 decades of survival in a world where trust gets you killed, screams at him. Is she connected to the Yongo clan? Was the boutique encounter staged? Is she bait in a trap he's walking into willingly because he's desperate to feel something again? But then he remembers her eyes. The way she looked at him without fear but with something else, assessment yes but also recognition. like she saw something in him that even he'd forgotten existed. His phone rings. Dae-young. Lee Min answers. Boss, where are you? We have the situation at the docks tonight. The Yongo clan. Reschedule. Boss, we can't reschedule a turf war. They're already there. We need. Lee Min hangs up. He's already putting on his jacket, checking his appearance in the mirror. For the first time in 6 months, he cares what he looks like. His hair is slightly disheveled. He smooths it back. His tie is crooked. He straightens it. These small vanities feel absurd, but he can't help himself. If there's even a chance she can make him feel again. The drive back to Houndy takes 15 minutes at this time of night. The boutique is closed, lights off, but Lee Min can see a warm glow from the apartment above. She lives where she works. Another detail from Dae-young's files. Another piece of the puzzle. He's standing outside, staring up at her window like a stalker or a fool. Probably both. When his phone explodes with messages. Dae-young. Boss, we need you at the docks now. Captain Kim. Situation escalating. 3 of our men down. Captain Park. Where are you? Lee Min silences his phone. Let them handle it. Let Dae-young coordinate. That's what he's paid for. Lee Min has spent 20 years making every decision. Fighting every battle. Carrying every burden. Tonight, he's choosing something different. Tonight, he's choosing the possibility of feeling human again over his empire. He doesn't go to the docks. He goes home. But he also doesn't sleep. He sits on his balcony watching the sun rise over Busan, and for the first time in 6 months, Lee Min feels something approximating hope. It's terrifying. Lee Min returns to a dyer and silk the next day. Alone. No Dae-young. No security team. No facade of property inspection. He simply walks in at 2 in the afternoon, and Lola looks up from where she's draping fabric on a mannequin, clearly unsurprised to see him. Back so soon. She sets down her pins carefully. Let me guess. You hated the fabric choices I didn't get to show you yesterday. I'll take 6 suits. The words tumble out faster than Lee Min intended, lacking his usual controlled cadence. All of them, whatever you think. I don't care which. Lola's lips quirk in what might be amusement. You're a terrible shopper, Mr. Lee. I know. She studies him for a long moment, then nods toward the measuring area. Same platform as yesterday. Shoes off this time. Lee Min complies. As Lola approaches with her measuring tape, his heart, which he hasn't been consciously aware of for months, suddenly pounds hard enough that he can hear blood rushing in his ears. She begins measuring his inseam, her hands quick and professional, and every time her fingers brush against him through the fabric, he feels it. That same electric jolt. Muted through clothing but unmistakably there. When did you lose feeling? Lola asks quietly, not looking at him, focused on measuring his waist. Lee Min freezes. What? 6 months ago? Maybe 7? Now she does look up, her eyes sharp and knowing. The way you react when I touch you, that's not attraction, Mr. Lee. I mean, it might be attraction too, but primarily that's nerve damage. I recognize it. How? Lee Min's voice sounds strangled. How do you? My brother studies neurotoxins. Lola steps back, writing down measurements in a small notebook. He's shown me case files. Patients who lost sensation due to synthetic nerve agents. You have all the symptoms. The lack of effect in your expression. The way you don't flinch from sudden movements. How you don't seem to register temperature changes. You walked in here without a coat and it's freezing outside. Lee Min feels exposed in a way that has nothing to do with standing on a platform being measured. No one knows. Not Dae-young, not his captains, not his enemies. It's been his most carefully guarded secret for 6 months. And this woman he met yesterday has dissected him in under 5 minutes. Why do you care? His voice comes out harsher than intended, defensive. Lola returns to measuring, this time his shoulders. When her hands settle on him to adjust the tape, Lee Min closes his eyes against the sensation. Because I know what it's like to be numb, she says softly. After my fiancé died, I didn't feel anything for a year. Not anger, not sadness. Just nothing. Like existing underwater. Everything muted and distant. How did you come back? Lee Min asks, opening his eyes to find her face close to his, her expression thoughtful. I didn't. Not fully. She steps back again, finished with measurements. But I learned to feel in small doses. Touch, color, music. She gestures to the boutique around them, the explosion of textiles and sound. This place is my therapy. Every fabric has texture. Every pattern has meaning. Every piece I create is me teaching myself to feel again. Your touch, Lee Min says, and his voice cracks slightly on the words. It's the only thing I've felt in 6 months. Lola sets down her measuring tape very carefully. For several heartbeats, neither of them speaks. The boutique feels smaller suddenly. The air between them charged with something Lee Min can't name because naming emotions requires feeling them first. The fabrics I use, Lola finally says, her voice professional but her eyes gentle. Some have properties. Silk with herbs woven in. Pressure points in the stitching. But honestly, she smiles softly, sadly. I think it's just connection. Your body remembering what it's like to be human. Lee Min reaches out slowly, telegraphing his movement, giving her time to step back if she wants. She doesn't. His fingers close around her hand, and the sensation nearly buckles his knees. Warmth. The slight roughness of calluses from sewing. The delicate bones of her fingers. He can feel all of it. Can I come back? The question sounds desperate even to his own ears. Tomorrow. Only if you actually try on the suits next time. Lola squeezes his hand once, then gently extracts herself. I close at 7. Come after that if you want privacy. Lee Min nods, not trusting his voice. He steps off the platform, puts his shoes back on, and walks toward the door in a daze. At the threshold, he pauses. Thank you, he says without turning around. For understanding. Don't thank me yet, Mr. Lee. We haven't discussed my prices. I'm very expensive. Despite everything, the numbness, the poisoning, the 6 months of existing as a ghost. Lee Min laughs. It's a rusty, unpracticed sound, but it's genuine. He leaves the boutique with something he hasn't had since before the poisoning. A reason to look forward to tomorrow. Across the street, hidden in a black sedan with tinted windows, a camera clicks. The photographer, a young woman with cold eyes, lowers the lens and scrolls through the images on the display. Lee Min entering the boutique. Lee Min on the measuring platform. Lee Min holding the designer's hand. Lee Min leaving with an expression that almost resembles human emotion. She selects the best shots and sends them via encrypted message. 3,000 kilometers away in Seoul, Yu Sang-mi opens the images on her phone and smiles. It's not a kind smile. It's the smile of a predator watching prey walk into an expertly laid trap. So, Sang-mi murmurs to herself, her voice hoarse from the coughing fits that plague her more frequently these days. The dead man found something to care about. How inconvenient for him. She forwards the images to 3 contacts. The first is her lieutenant in Busan. The second is a corrupt detective on the city police force. The third is Dae-young. In his apartment, Dae-young stares at the photos on his phone for a full minute. Then he makes a decision. He dials a number he swore he'd never call. Sang-mi answers on the first ring. Mr. Han, I was wondering when you'd reach out. He's compromised, Dae-young says without preamble. His voice is flat, dead. The voice of a man who's already mourned what he's about to lose. If we don't act now, he'll get us all killed. The entire syndicate. Then we're agreed? Sang-mi's voice is silk over steel. The merger happens in 3 weeks. You deliver his territory, I guarantee no bloodshed. Your men live. Lee Min steps down peacefully. He saved my life once. Dae-young says quietly. Took a bullet meant for me. This is me returning the favor. Saving him from himself. Of course, Sang-mi agrees, though her smile could cut glass. You're such a good friend, Mr. Han. After he hangs up, Dae-young pours himself 3 fingers of whiskey and doesn't bother with a glass. He drinks straight from the bottle, staring at the photos of Lee Min looking almost human again. Sometimes, he tells himself, betrayal is mercy. Sometimes you have to kill the man to save his life. He doesn't believe himself, but he drinks until he can pretend he does. For 3 weeks, Lee Min visits a dyer and silk every evening after closing. Sometimes he arrives at 7 sharp. Sometimes he doesn't make it until 9. But he always comes, and Lola always lets him in. They talk while she works. Lee Min watches her hands move, pinning fabric, sketching designs, stitching hems, and remembers what it feels like to be fascinated by something other than power and survival. She tells him about Lagos and London and the strange isolation of being a third-culture kid. He tells her about growing up on Busan's docks, about fighting his way up from nothing, about the things he's done that he can never undo. "Do you regret it?" Lola asks one night, her hands still on a half-finished jacket. "The life you've built?" Lee Min considers the question seriously. 6 months ago, he would have said no without hesitation. Now, sitting in her boutique surrounded by color and life, he's not sure. "I regret what it cost," he says finally. "But I'm not sure I regret the survival. That's honest at least." Lola returns to her stitching. Most people lie about their regrets. Pretend they'd choose differently if they could go back. "Would you?" Lee Min asks. "If you could go back to before Marcus died?" Lola's hands still on the fabric. For a moment, Lee Min thinks he's overstepped, pushed too far into territory marked private. But then she speaks. "Every day," she says quietly. "Every single day I'd choose to go back. Even knowing how it ends. Even knowing the pain. Because 3 years of loving him was worth a lifetime of grief." Lee Min doesn't know what to say to that. He reaches out, takes her hand, and just holds it. She lets him. They sit like that in the dim boutique, two broken people learning to be human again through touch and honesty and stolen evening hours. Outside, the photographer captures it all. Inside, neither of them notices the danger circling closer. At Busan University Hospital, Dr. Park Ji-ho works late in his lab. It's nearly midnight and he's running another round of tests on the compound that might reverse the effects of the neurotoxin currently destroying both Lee Min and Yu Sang-mi. The irony isn't lost on him. The antidote that could save the man his sister is falling for was originally synthesized under threat from that man's enemies. The lab door crashes open. Ji-ho spins around, a test tube still in his gloved hand. 3 men enter, Yongo clan thugs he recognizes from previous visits. His heart plummets. "Dr. Park." The lead thug smiles with too many teeth. "Working late again. How dedicated." "I have nothing new to report," Ji-ho says quickly, carefully setting down the test tube. "The compound is still unstable. Human trials would be." "We're not here about the compound." The thug steps closer. "We're here about your sister, Lola. She's been spending quite a bit of time with Lee Min." Ji-ho's blood runs cold. "She runs a boutique. She has many clients who don't." The thug's voice drops to something dangerous. "We have photos. We have surveillance. We know exactly how cozy they've gotten. What we need to know is, what have you told him about the toxin?" "Nothing," Ji-ho says, and it's the truth. "I haven't told him anything because he doesn't know I exist. Lola and we're careful about our connection. For exactly this reason." The thug studies him for a long moment, then nods. "Good. Keep it that way. Because if Lee Min suddenly develops a miraculous cure, we'll know where it came from. And we'll visit your sister's boutique. Late at night, when she's alone." They leave. Ji-ho waits until the door closes, counts to 60, then immediately pulls out his phone with shaking hands. He calls Lola. She answers on the 3rd ring, breathless. "Appa, it's late." "They know," Ji-ho interrupts, his voice urgent and terrified. "The Yongo clan knows you've been seeing Lee Min Nuna. You have to stay away from him. They're watching both of you." Silence on the other end. Then, "What did they say?" "Exactly. Just be careful. Promise me. Promise me you'll be careful." "I promise," Lola says, but her voice sounds distant, thoughtful. "I promise, Appa." After they hang up, Ji-ho returns to his work with renewed desperation. The antidote is so close. Another week, maybe 2, and he'll have something stable enough for human testing. If he can just finish it before the Yongo clan loses patience. Before they hurt Lola. Before Lee Min dies from the poison slowly destroying his neural pathways. Above the boutique, Lola sits on her apartment floor, surrounded by fabric samples for Lee Min's final suit. The one she's been designing for 3 weeks. Black with secret Ankara lining. A fusion of his world and hers. She picks up her phone, stares at Lee Min's contact, her thumb hovering over the call button. She doesn't call. She can't. Not yet. Not until she figures out how to protect him and Jiho and herself all at once. Not until she determines if what she's feeling for Lee Min is worth the danger it's bringing into her carefully rebuilt life. Outside her window, Busan glitters in the darkness. Beautiful and dangerous, just like the man she's teaching to feel again. In his penthouse across the city, Lee Min lies in bed and stares at his hand, the one that held Lola's tonight. For the first time in months, he can feel the sheets beneath him, the weight of the blanket, the slight chill of the air conditioning. Sensation is returning in small increments, tiny victories against the numbness. He's not cured, not even close, but he's not completely dead either. I'm not numb anymore, he whispers to his empty room. And for a moment, in the darkness, Lee Min allows himself to hope. It's a mistake. Hope is always a mistake in his world. But God help him, he can't stop himself from hoping anyway. The Kyansa Syndicate meeting room feels different today. Lee Min notices it the moment he walks in. His captains are already seated, but their body language is off. Too stiff, too formal, eyes that don't quite meet his. The air tastes like betrayal even though Lee Min can't actually taste anything yet. Western dock status, he says, taking his seat at the head of the table. His phone buzzes in his pocket. Lola, new suit ready. Come by after 8. He can't help it. He smiles slightly before tucking the phone away. Every single person in the room notices. Captain Kim clears his throat. Boss, we need to discuss resource allocation for. Whatever Dae-young recommends is fine. Lee Min interrupts, still distracted by the text. After 8. He can finish here by 7:30 if they keep things efficient. What else? Boss. Dae-young leans forward, and there's something in his voice that finally captures Lee Min's full attention. Warning. Desperation. Grief. We need to talk. Privately. We're in a closed meeting. Speak. Not here. Please. Just you and me. Lee Min studies his second-in-command. 20 years together. Dae-young took a knife meant for Lee Min in 09. Lee Min returned the favor in 14. They've built an empire together, survived 3 wars together, buried mutual friends together. If there's anyone in this world Lee Min trusts, it's the man sitting 3 feet away looking like he's about to confess to murder. 5 minutes, Lee Min says, standing. The rest of you dismissed. The captains file out too quickly, like they're fleeing. Lee Min and Dae-young alone in the meeting room. Busan sprawls outside the windows, beautiful and brutal in the afternoon light. Talk, Lee Min commands. You've delegated 90% of operations to me in 3 weeks. Dae-young's voice is steady, but his hands aren't. You're never at headquarters. You smile at your phone. You're falling in love, boss. And you're falling in love with a woman whose landlord is Yongo affiliated. The world stops. Just stops. What? Her building. Dae-young pulls out his tablet, brings up property records. Owned by a shell company, traced back to Sangmi. Lola Adeyemi is either the most unlucky woman in Busan or she's bait. And you walked right into it. Lee Min stares at the documents. Numbers, names, corporate structures designed to hide ownership. It's all there. Lee Min's hand trembles as he grips the edge of the table. The first sign of fear he's shown in months. How long have you known? 2 weeks. Dae-young admits. I've been investigating, trying to find proof she's innocent, that it's coincidence. But boss, her brother is a neurotoxin researcher. She shows up in Busan right after you're poisoned. She happens to rent from your enemies. And she knew about your condition the first time you met. She explained that. Her brother who works for the Yongo clan. Dae-young interrupts. They've been pressuring him for months. We have intel. Lee Min feels something crack inside his chest. Not his heart, he's not sure his heart works properly anymore. But something. Hope, maybe. The fragile, stupid hope he let himself feel. I need to talk to her, he says, already moving toward the door. Boss, wait. Now. He's out the door before Dae-young can stop him. In the car, driving too fast through Busan traffic, Lee Min's mind races. There has to be an explanation. Lola wouldn't, but the facts stack up like bodies at a crime scene. The timing, the building, her brother, her knowledge. It all points to calculated manipulation. Unless it doesn't. Unless there's another story hidden beneath the obvious one. He reaches a dyer and silk at 7:45. The boutique is closed but lights are on. He can see Lola through the window hanging a finished garment. She looks up when he enters, smiling, then sees his face. What's wrong? Your landlord, Lee Min says without preamble. His voice is cold, defensive, armor snapping back into place. How did you find this building? Lola's smile fades. Through a real estate agent? Why? Do you know who owns it? Some property company. Lee Min, what is this about? It's owned by the Yongo clan. He watches her face carefully for any sign of deception. The people who poisoned me. The people who want me dead. Shock ripples across Lola's features. Genuine shock or excellent acting. Lee Min can't tell anymore. What? No, I didn't know that. I would never. Your brother is a neurotoxin researcher. Lee Min continues, the words cutting like glass. You show up in Busan 2 years ago. You happened to rent from my enemies. And you knew about my condition the moment we met. So what? I'm a spy. Hurt transforms into anger in real time across Lola's face. You think I've been playing you this whole time? I don't know what to think. Then let me make it simple. Lola's voice rises, matching his intensity. Yes, I knew about the toxin, because Jiho has been studying it for months, trying to develop an antidote. For you. That's why I recognized the symptoms that first day. That's why She stops, swallows hard. He's been working on it secretly because the Yongo clan has been pressuring him. They threatened him, Lee Min. They threatened me. I couldn't tell you because I was trying to protect my brother. The confession hangs between them like shattered glass. An antidote? Lee Min's voice cracks on the word. He's been trying to save you, Lola says, and now there are tears streaming down her face. For months, under threat, working in secret. And I couldn't tell you because if the Yongo clan knew he was close to succeeding, they'd kill him. They'd kill both of us. So yes, I kept secrets, but not to hurt you, to protect the people I love. Lee Min feels the walls he rebuilt crumbling again. Lola, you think I would use you? She's crying openly now, her voice breaking. After everything I've lost? You think I'd weaponize connection? Make you feel things just to manipulate you? I watched the love of my life die in a gutter while strangers filmed it on their phones instead of helping. I swore I'd never use love as a weapon. And here you are, accusing me of exactly that. I'm sorry. I was scared. Get out. Her voice drops to something quiet and lethal. Get out of my boutique. Lola, please let me explain. Get out. Lee Min leaves. Behind him, he hears Lola collapse against something. The sound of sobbing that tears at what's left of his humanity. He stands outside on the street, hand raised to go back in, to apologize properly, to fix this. But he can't. Because what if Dae-young is right? What if this is all manipulation? What if the antidote story is another layer of the trap? He drives back to his penthouse in silence. The city lights blur past. Busan has never felt more like a cage. Inside the boutique, Lola slides down the wall, wrapping her arms around her knees. She's crying so hard she doesn't hear the back room door open. Doesn't notice Jiho stepping out from where he's been hiding. Nuna, he says softly, kneeling beside her. I heard everything. She looks up at him, her face ravaged by tears. He thinks I'm using him. I know. Jiho pulls her into a hug. But we can fix this. The antidote is finished. It's stable. I can prove everything I told you. It doesn't matter, Lola says into his shoulder. He doesn't trust me, and I can't love someone who thinks I'm capable of that kind of cruelty. Then we make him trust you, Jiho says firmly. Together. Lee Min breaks into Jiho's lab at 2 in the morning. It's almost laughably easy. He owns enough of this city that locked doors are mere suggestions. Jiho is there, working late as always, and barely seems surprised when Lee Min appears beside his workstation. Mr. Lee. Jiho sets down his pipette carefully. I was wondering when you'd come. Tell me about the antidote. Jiho gestures to his computer screen, pulling up files, research data, clinical trial results. It's finished. As of 3 days ago. 1 stable dose. Enough to reverse the neural damage from the toxin Sang-mi used on you. How did you know about the toxin? Ji-ho sits down heavily, exhaustion evident in every line of his body. 6 months ago, the Yongo clan approached me. They wanted me to weaponize a nerve agent. I refused. Then they showed me photos of Lola. Told me they knew where she lived, where she worked, what time she walked home at night. So you helped them. I stalled. Ji-ho corrects. Gave them weak formulas. Bought time. Then I heard about you, Seoul's top mafia boss, poisoned at a peace summit. I realized they'd already used a version of the toxin. So I started working on the antidote. Why? Lee Min leans against the lab table. Why risk yourself for me? Ji-ho looks up, and his eyes are ancient despite his young face. Because if they killed you, they'd have no more use for me. Or Lola. You're the only thing keeping us alive, Mr. Lee. As long as you're a threat to them, they need me working on antidotes and weapons. The moment you die, we become liabilities. The logic is flawless and terrible. Lee Min has spent 20 years understanding survival mathematics. He recognizes the calculation instantly. Does Lola know they threatened you? She knows they're dangerous. She doesn't know the full extent. Ji-ho stands, retrieving a small vial from a secure refrigerator. Clear liquid, barely enough to fill a shot glass. She thinks I'm doing this to save you because she's falling in love with you. The truth is Messier. I'm doing it to save you so that you can save her. Lee Min stares at the vial. 1 dose. 1 dose. I can make more, but it takes time. Weeks. Maybe months. This is all we have right now. Lee Min's phone buzzes. Dae-young, boss. Emergency. The docks. Now. I have to go, Lee Min says, but he doesn't move. He's staring at that vial like it contains salvation and damnation in equal measure. Take it, Ji-ho says, pressing it into Lee Min's hand. Not now. When you're ready. When you've decided whether living is worth the cost. The docks at night are a different world. Shipping containers create metal canyons. Fog rolls off the water, mixing with industrial smoke. Neon reflects in oily puddles. Lee Min arrives with 6 men. Dae-young is already there, standing beside 3 bodies, Lee Min's men, executed professionally, bullet wounds to the head. They hit us during a routine pickup. Dae-young reports, his voice tight. Knew exactly when we'd be here. Someone leaked our schedule. Lee Min crouches beside the bodies. Young men, barely 30. They had families, lives, futures that ended in a dark warehouse because someone in his organization is selling information. Where's our cargo? Gone. 5 million in product. Just gone. Lee Min stands, scanning the area. His instincts, honed by 2 decades of survival, scream danger. This is wrong. Too exposed. Too convenient. They shouldn't be here. Then the first gunshot cracks through the night. Chaos erupts. Yongo soldiers emerge from behind containers, at least 20 of them, armed with automatic weapons. Lee Min's crew takes cover, returning fire, but they're outnumbered and outgunned. Bullets spark off metal. Someone screams. Glass shatters. Lee Min draws his pistol, firing with the mechanical precision of a man who's killed before and will kill again. But his mind isn't on the fight. His mind is calculating angles and odds and the growing certainty that they've been led into a trap. A bullet catches him in the shoulder. For the first time in 6 months, he feels pain. Real, excruciating, undeniable pain. It drops him to his knees behind a container, blood already soaking through his shirt. He gasps, almost laughs at the absurdity. Months wishing he could feel. Now he feels everything. Boss! Dae-young is beside him, providing cover fire. We need to fall back. Where? Lee Min grits out. They're surrounded. Classic ambush. Professional execution. This isn't a random attack. This is assassination. More of the Yongo soldiers press forward. Lee Min's crew is being systematically eliminated. He can hear his men dying, short cries, wet sounds, the thud of bodies hitting concrete. Dae-young pulls him up, half carrying him toward the cars. They make it, barely. 4 of Lee Min's 6 men don't. In the car, speeding away from the docks, Lee Min presses his hand against his shoulder. Blood pumps between his fingers. The pain is extraordinary, sharp and hot and real. His vision blurs at the edges. Hospital, the driver says. No. Lee Min's voice is barely audible. Houndy. The boutique. Boss, you need a doctor. The boutique. Now. Dae-young, in the passenger seat, turns to look at him. Their eyes meet. For a moment, something passes between them. Understanding, maybe. Or goodbye. Lee Min isn't sure which. Drive. Dae-young tells the driver. Do what he says. Lee Min pounds on the boutique door at 11:47. Lola opens it, still angry from earlier, ready to tell him to leave again. Then she sees the blood. Oh my God! The anger evaporates instantly. Get inside. Quickly. She pulls him in, locks the door. Dae-young and the surviving men wait outside, standing guard. Inside the boutique, Lola transforms. Her hands are steady as she guides Lee Min to a chair, cutting away his jacket and shirt with fabric scissors. This is going to hurt, she warns, gathering supplies from a comprehensive first aid kit. I know, Lee Min says. I can feel it. God, Lola, I can feel it. She pauses, meeting his eyes. Understanding floods her face. The pain. Everything. For the first time in months. Everything. Good, she says quietly, and begins cleaning the wound. Then you'll remember this. Remember that I'm trying to help you, not hurt you. I'm sorry. Lee Min hisses as disinfectant bites into torn flesh. For earlier. For accusing you. I was scared. Shut up. You'll tear the sutures. But her hands are shaking now. Lee Min notices. Lola. I said shut up. Lola. Look at me. She does. Tears balance on her lashes, threatening to fall. I thought you were different, she whispers, still working on stitching his wound with practiced efficiency. I thought you saw me, not just some pawn in your world. I do see you, Lee Min says softly. That's why I was scared. You tore down walls it took me 20 years to build. You made me feel things, hope things, want things I thought were dead. Of course I was terrified. Feeling is the most dangerous thing I've done in 2 decades. Lola finishes the last stitch, ties it off, bandages the wound with professional precision. You'll need antibiotics, and rest, and Lee Min catches her hand. I trust you. I don't trust easily, but I trust you. That's the stupidest thing you've ever said. Lola stares at their joined hands. Trusting me, after everything. You're either the bravest man I've ever met or the most foolish. Maybe both. He pulls her closer gently, giving her time to resist. She doesn't. When he kisses her, it's not rushed or desperate. It's searching, questioning, asking forgiveness and permission in equal measure. She melts into it, her hands coming up to frame his face, careful of his injured shoulder. When they break apart, Lola's crying fully now. You're bleeding on my vintage fabric. I'll buy you new ones. You better. She kisses him again, softer this time. You absolute disaster of a man. They hold each other in the dim boutique, surrounded by color and silk and the faint smell of blood and antiseptic. Outside, Busan continues its chaos. Inside, 2 broken people find something like peace in the wreckage of trust rebuilt. Morning light filters through the boutique windows. Lee Min wakes on Lola's couch, shirtless, bandaged, covered in a throw blanket that smells like jasmine and fabric dye. Lola is in the kitchenette making tea. The domesticity of it feels surreal. His phone rings. Captain Park. Lee Min answers. Boss, we have a problem. The captain's voice is grim. Someone's been accessing our financial records, offshore accounts, money movement we didn't authorize. Who? Lee Min sits up despite the pain in his shoulder. The access codes are Dae-young's. The world tilts. What? He's been in contact with Yongo clan leadership. Phone records show 47 calls in the last month. Boss, I'm sorry, but where is he now? We're tracking him. What do you want us to do? Lee Min's voice turns to ice. Bring him to me. Alive. He ends the call. Lola has heard everything. She sets down the tea carefully. Your right-hand man, she says quietly. Apparently. What will you do to him? Lee Min stands, pulling on his blood-stained shirt despite the pain. Syndicate law is clear. Betrayal is death. Lola grabs his arm. Lee Min, This is my world, Lola. It's not pretty. And that's the world you want to stay in? Her voice rises. Where you have to kill people you love? The question hangs between them. Lee Min doesn't have an answer. Or maybe he does, and it terrifies him. I don't know anymore, he admits. His phone rings again. This time it's Dae-young. Lee Min answers on speaker. Boss. Dae-young's voice is panicked, desperate. It's a trap. They have Ji-ho. Sang-mi has your girl's brother. She wants to meet. Lee Min's blood runs cold. Where? Dock 7. 1 hour. She wants a trade. Trade for what? Your life for Ji-ho's. And the antidote. Boss, she knows about the antidote. She's dying from the same toxin. Tested it on herself before using it on you. She needs it to survive. And if I refuse? She kills Ji-ho. Then comes for Lola. Then burns your entire organization to the ground. Dae-young's voice cracks. Boss, I'm sorry. I was trying to save you. I thought if I could broker peace, negotiate a merger, I could protect everyone. But it went wrong. Everything went wrong. You betrayed me. I betrayed you to save you. Dae-young shouts. You were dying inside. Then you came back to life for her and I knew they'd use her against you. I was right. Look where we are. Lee Min ends the call. Looks at Lola. Her face has gone white with terror. My brother, she whispers. I know. Lee Min pulls her close despite the pain in his shoulder. I'll get him back. I promise. By trading yourself? By dying? If that's what it takes. No. Lola pulls back, fierce and determined. There's always another way. We can. There is no other way. Lee Min's voice is gentle but final. She has your brother. She has the leverage. And I won't let her hurt you or Ji-ho because of me. They drive to the docks in tense silence. Lee Min's men follow in 3 cars. But Lee Min knows the truth. This isn't a fight they can win with guns and numbers. This is a negotiation. A transaction. His life for the people he's learned to care about. In the car, Lola suddenly pulls something from her jacket. A small vial. Clear liquid. Ji-ho gave this to me 3 days ago, she says. Before they took him. The antidote. 1 dose. He said if anything happened, I should inject you. Lee Min stares at it. Why haven't you? Because I wanted it to be your choice. Lola's voice shakes. Live and fight. Or die a martyr. If I take this, I'm choosing my life over Sang-mi's. Over a dying woman. A dying woman who poisoned you. Lola grabs his face, forcing him to look at her. Who's holding my brother hostage? Who's threatening to kill everyone you love? Lee Min, please, take it and fight. I can't lose anyone else. I can't. Her voice breaks. Please. Lee Min takes the vial, studies it in the dim car light. Then, with steady hands, he uncaps it and injects it into his arm. The liquid burns going in. Within seconds, he feels something shift in his body. Neural pathways reconnecting. Sensation flooding back in waves. Done, he says. Now let's go save your brother. Dock 7 looks like every mafia movie ever made. Shipping containers. Dramatic lighting. Fog rolling off the water. Yu Sang-mi stands in the center like a queen holding court, flanked by 20 armed soldiers. Ji-ho kneels before her, hands bound, blood trickling from a head wound. Lee Min approaches alone. Lola is hidden nearby with a recording device and cell phone. Lee Min's insurance policy, though he doubts it will matter. The dead man walks, Sang-mi says. Her voice is rough, damaged. She's clearly very ill. Pale skin, labored breathing, tremors in her hands. I'm impressed you came. Release the doctor. Where's the antidote? Where's your honor? You said a trade. Sang-mi laughs. It dissolves into coughing that racks her thin frame. Honor? From you? The man who executed my brother in front of his children. Your brother killed 30 civilians in a nightclub fire. Lee Min counters coldly. He deserved worse. Maybe. Sang-mi's eyes glitter with fever and hatred. But you took him from me, and I took your humanity from you. We're even. Except. She smiles cruelly. You found it again. Her. The designer. Lola. She nods. 2 soldiers drag Lola out from behind a container. She struggles, but they're stronger. holding her arms behind her back. You said just the doctor. Lee Min's control shatters. Rage explodes across his face. I lied. Sang-mi shrugs. I'm a criminal. What did you expect? Nuna, run. Jiho shouts desperately. Sang-mi pulls out a gun, pressing it against Jiho's temple. Nobody runs. Now, the antidote. Or I kill him in front of his sister. Lee Min reaches into his jacket slowly. Every gun in the vicinity swings toward him. He pulls out. Nothing. Shows his empty hands. I don't have it. Wrong answer. Sang-mi cocks the gun. Because I already took it. Lee Min steps forward into better light. His eyes are clearer now, alert, alive in a way they haven't been since before the poisoning. 20 minutes ago, in the car. It's in my bloodstream now. Working. You wanted to know if I was still broken? I'm not. Not anymore. Sang-mi's face contorts through several emotions. Shock, rage, despair. You took the only dose? My fiancé injected me. Against my will, technically. Lee Min looks at Lola. She's crying but nods confirmation. I chose her over you, Sang-mi. I chose life over vengeance. Make of that what you will. Then I have nothing to lose. Sang-mi aims the gun at Lee Min's heart. Suddenly, Dae-young appears from behind the containers. But he's not alone. He has Lee Min's full crew, 30 armed men, positioned strategically. He's freed himself from wherever Lee Min's men were holding him. Actually, you do, Dae-young calls out. Lose, I mean. Sang-mi's head snaps toward him. You're outnumbered. No, we're broadcasting. Dae-young holds up his phone. Live stream to every news outlet, police station and politician in Busan. Everything you've said. The toxin. The kidnapping. The blackmail. It's all recorded. You're done, Sang-mi. For the first time, uncertainty flickers across Sang-mi's face. She looks around at her soldiers, at the recording phone, at the weapons trained on her from multiple angles. She's been outplayed. Kill me, she says to Lee Min, lowering her gun. It's faster than the poison. Lee Min approaches her slowly, picks up her weapon, empties the clip, tosses it aside. No. What? I'm not the monster you think I am anymore. He crouches to her level. You have maybe 3 months. Painful ones. Use them to make peace with whatever God you believe in. You're cruel, Sang-mi whispers. I'm merciful, Lee Min corrects. Something I learned recently. He turns to Jiho, cutting his bonds himself. The doctor stumbles but stays upright. Then Lee Min walks to Lola. The soldiers release her immediately. She runs to him and they collide in an embrace that feels like drowning and breathing at the same time. I couldn't let you die, Lola says into his shoulder. I know. Thank you. She's going to suffer. Yes, but her death won't be on my hands. I'm trying to be better. For you. Police sirens wail in the distance. Sang-mi is arrested. Her clan scatters like rats from a burning building. The Yongo threat evaporates in one night of recordings and betrayal. Lee Min turns to Dae-young last. They stare at each other across 10 feet of concrete and 20 years of history. You saved us, Lee Min says finally. I owed you a life. Now we're even. Leave Busan. Start over somewhere else. I don't want to see you again. Dae-young nods once. Fair. He walks away into the pre-dawn darkness. Not forgiven but not dead. Mercy over vengeance. It's a new approach for Lee Min. He's not sure he likes it yet, but he's willing to try. 6 weeks later, Busan transforms. The Yongo clan's collapse triggers investigations into political corruption, police payoffs, corporate fraud. Lee Min's syndicate navigates the chaos by going legitimate, investing in real estate, fashion, arts. Money laundering via cultural development. Still crime, technically, but cleaner. Less blood. More paperwork. Lee Min stands in his penthouse, but it's different now. No longer sterile and cold. There are colors on the walls. African art Lola helped him select. Fabric swatches on the coffee table. Her Ankara blazer draped over his leather chair. The space feels lived in. Human. At Kyansa headquarters, Lee Min attends meetings wearing Lola's designs. Black suits with subtle Ankara trim visible only when he moves a certain way. Hidden identity. Cultural fusion. His men are getting used to the new boss, one who smiles occasionally and makes decisions based on ethics as well as profit. Jiho's lab receives full funding. He's working on nerve regeneration treatments for trauma victims now. Legal research, clean money, government grants. He still looks tired all the time, but it's a healthier exhaustion. Attire and Silk has expanded to 3 times its original size. Lola hired 10 new staff members. She's hosting fashion shows that mix African and Korean aesthetics, employing models from every background, creating a cultural space in Busan that didn't exist before. And now, walking barefoot on Houndy Beach at sunset, Lee Min feels everything. The sand between his toes, the cooling evening air, the warmth of Lola's hand in his. "Your men are still uncomfortable with me," Lola says, watching seabirds circle overhead. "They'll adjust. You're terrifying. I'm 5'6" and I design clothes. You faced down 20 armed gangsters and recorded a crime lord's confession." Lee Min counters. "You're absolutely terrifying." Lola stops walking, turning to face him. "I was scared the entire time. That's what makes it brave." Lee Min tucks a stray braid behind her ear. "I need to ask you something. Is this the part where you tell me you're actually still a criminal mastermind?" "No. This is the part where I ask if you'd consider a permanent alteration." He pulls out a small box, opens it. Inside sits a ring unlike any traditional engagement ring. A black diamond set in gold, with tiny Ankara patterns engraved around the band. It's a fusion just like them. "I had it custom made," Lee Min explains, suddenly nervous in a way gunfights never made him nervous. "The engravings are Attire patterns. Because you were right, we're tied and died. Bound through fire." Lola's crying now, tears streaming down her face in the golden sunset light. "Lee Min, you gave me back everything. My feeling, my humanity, my life. I don't want to spend a single day without you. Marry me, Lola. Make me human every day." "This is insane." Lola laughs through tears. "We've known each other for 3 months. In my world, 3 months is a lifetime. So, marry me." "You're still terrible at shopping." Lola holds out her hand, examining the ring. "This is definitely too big. Is that a no?" Lola kisses him, soft and certain and tasting like salt tears and hope. "It's a yes, you ridiculous man. We'll resize it." He slides the ring onto her finger. It is indeed too big, spinning loosely around her knuckle. They both laugh, holding each other as the sun sinks into the ocean and Busan lights up behind them. Back at Attire and Silk that evening, the boutique is closed, curtains drawn, door locked. Lee Min stands before the full-length mirror in the suit Lola finished designing. Black base with vibrant Ankara lining that shows when the jacket moves. It's perfect. He's perfect. Or at least he's whole again. Lola adjusts his collar the same way she did the first day they met. Full circle. Everything coming together. "How does it feel?" she asks, her hands lingering on his lapels. Lee Min takes her hand, presses it against his chest where his heart beats steady and strong. "Everything. I feel everything." "Good." Lola smiles, that brilliant, fearless smile that first captivated him. "Because I'm going to make you feel a lot more." She locks the boutique door, draws the curtains fully closed, dims the lights until the space glows warm and intimate. "Here?" Lee Min asks, amused. "This is where you came back to life." Seems fitting. She slowly removes his jacket, revealing the Ankara lining sewn with her own hands. He traces the patterns on her dress, feeling each texture, each thread. They move together through the boutique, past bolts of fabric, around mannequins, between hanging garments. The mirror reflects them. 2 people from impossible worlds, becoming one. Their hands intertwine. His scars, her smooth skin. Both real, both alive, both finally completely human. If you've made it this far, if Lee Min and Lola's journey moved you, if you felt the tension and the hope and the love, hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button. Please drop a comment telling me the country you are watching from and what scene hit you hardest. Turn on notifications because I have more Afro-Korean stories like this. Stories about broken people finding wholeness, about love in impossible places, about choosing humanity when the world demands monstrosity. Subscribe now. Let's build this community together. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.